British-based Lockheed Martin has become the first company to submit letter of interest for supplying F-16 fighter jets to the Indian Air Force. Last week, remember, the Ministry of Defence had issued requests for information to global OEMs for acquiring single-engine fighter jets to replace the MiG-21s, coming close on the heels after the Rafale deal. Lockheed Martin's global team is in India this week and they've met various government departments to pitch for the F-16. The company's top executives today told CNBC TV 18 that Lockheed Martin would not only shift its entire F-16 manufacturing line lock, stock and barrel from Fort Worth, Texas to India, but would also export fighter jets to other countries once India's requirements are over. Here's a slice of that exclusive chat.
Received some correspondence from your government late last week, and we've responded to that. That response went out early this week, so very much so. We're looking forward to conversations with your government about this acquisition and the opportunity for us.
Because the one big thing that Lockheed Martin has put on the table is actually possibly shifting the entire F-16 manufacturing plant from Fort Worth, Texas to India. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yes, today all F-16s are built in Fort Worth, Texas. As you know, we spoke earlier. We have the history of having built up industrial capacity around the world. We built F-16s in the past in Korea, in Turkey, in Belgium, and the Netherlands. But today, they're only built in Fort Worth, Texas, and so the offer is to take our production line as it exists today in Fort Worth and bring it to India for Indian aircraft, but also for all the aircraft produced from this point forward.
So even after the Indian requirements are met, then Abhay, if India does give you the contract and if they do start buying F-16s from you, then even for future, you will be supplying these F-16s out of India.
That is correct. As Randy mentioned, what we are looking at is establishing a global supply chain that will be centered in India. So the production line, the F-16 production line, will move to India, which means that we'll start manufacturing, not just assembling the aircraft, but we want to move the entire aircraft as much as we can. We want to start manufacturing in India. Mm-hmm. So once we start doing that, then this becomes the focal point of the F-16s worldwide, mm-hmm. and future exports will also be handled to the same production line here.
So what does it then mean for Indian suppliers specifically, considering that you have some business arrangements with Tatas, you have a limited business arrangement currently with Ashok Leyland? What does it mean for Indian suppliers? Because this is going to throw open a lot of opportunities for them.
So I think the biggest exciting thing for us and for Indian industry is an opportunity to become an integral part of the world's most successful global fighter supply chain. There are more than 3,200 F-16s operating worldwide. This puts Indian industry right in the center of that. So you're not only producing parts, components, or final aircraft assemblies for Indian jets, but you're doing it for future exports, and you're providing spares, parts, future mods, upgrades. You have now an ability to be integrated into a very large supply base, which tremendously improves your return on investment.
Mm-hmm. You've been here, both of you are here, and you've been meeting various people from the government, various stakeholders. What's the response like that you've got from them?
Well, I think there's a great deal of interest. Obviously, this is a unique opportunity, mm-hmm. and as I said earlier, we have done this kind of thing in other places. We've never offered in the past the ability or the willingness to take our entire production and move it into another country. And so I think there's a recognition here that industrially this is a really, really strong offer.
Mm-hmm. Because even in the past, you have assembled aircrafts, the F-16, I think places like Turkey, Netherlands, Korea. So in that sense, India would be different because you'd be manufacturing here.
That's correct. So we're not talking just about assembly mm-hmm. in India. We're talking about make in India, manufacture, assemble, build, and export even in India, and then the care and feeding, as Abhay said earlier, for 3,200 plus aircraft that are flown today all around the world.
You have an existing joint venture with Tata Advanced Systems. So if you start manufacturing F-16s here, do you think Tata's would be one of the companies that stand to benefit the most, perhaps?
Well, I think it's more than just one company. It's a manufacturing ecosystem that would be developed around it, right? Because if you're going to be supplying components for a global supply chain, mm-hmm. and you're not doing just assembly, you're doing the whole manufacturing, then there's all sorts of manufacturing that has to go into it, including parts and repairs and support. So it will be multiple industries. Obviously, we've had a great experience working with Tatas, and so that's what we would start with to look at, because our joint venture right now with Tata Lockheed Martin in Hyderabad has been tremendously successful.